now that I Know What You Did Last Summer is in theaters, I thought I'd go through the various legacy, sequel, final girls that we've gotten over the last couple years. I'm going to talk about Sidney Prescott from the Scream movies, Laurie Strode from the Halloween series, and Julie James from I Know What You Did Last Summer. And honestly, I'm just ranking these based on whether I liked where they kind of ended up or not. In last place, I put Laurie Strode from Halloween. I love Laurie Strode. She is like the ultimate final girl in my opinion. The original Halloween is like my #1 favorite horror movie of all time. So I love Laurie Strode. And I didn't hate what they did with Laurie Strode in the new ones, but it did make me sad that she basically spent her whole life kind of cooped up by herself. Honestly, people just treated her like she was crazy, and she just spent her whole life waiting for Michael to get out of prison or escape so she could, face him. And like, obviously she alienated her family. I just felt bad for her that her whole life kind of ended up terribly, and she was alone. So I love Laurie Strode, but it made me sad kind of where she ended up. But it does make sense because with that amount of trauma, sometimes it happens, sometimes you just kind of go off the deep end. In second place, I have Julie James. I like what they did with her for the most part. Honestly, she wasn't in the movie that much, and I mean, that was fine. Basically, she was there to give guidance to the new characters. I feel like her being like a professor and kind of teaching people how to deal with trauma shows like she has grown. She has worked through some of her trauma. She's like working on her life, and she seems happier, especially since she cut ties with Ray. Like overall, I like how she ended up, and I'm also glad, spoilers ahead for the new movie, we're gonna get like clearly a sequel with her and Carla with Brandy. So I'm looking forward to that, seeing what happens with Julie James. I hope she's a bigger part in the next movie. We'll see what happens with Julie, but as of right now, I thought, how she ended up was okay. And finally, in my #1 spot, I put Sidney Prescott. She is that girl. She is so strong. She is always up for the fight. Like, she is a survivor. And so I love her. I think she's great. And clearly, she's gone through her trauma. She's worked on it. She clearly has like a lovely family and kids. I mean, obviously when we see her in Scream 5, like she's moved away from Woodsboro. Obviously she hasn't come back in quite some time, but she comes back. She knows it's like the right thing to do to help people. I think she's been through so much trauma, but she hasn't let that get to her. She's really worked through it and become like a really good person, a really strong person. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with her in Scream 7. I hope she continues being the final girl. I can't imagine Sidney Prescott ever dying to a ghost face because I feel like she's always that girl. Gosh, I hope nothing bad happens to her in the new Scream movie. But out of all the legacy sequel final girls, Sidney has turned out the best. I think she's continuing to be the strong fighter we know and love, and I can't wait to see what happens with her character in the next film. So that's my ranking of legacy sequel final girls. I'm going to talk about these final girls like kind of earlier on in the movies. This ranking would be different, but based on just the legacy sequels that we've gotten in the last 8 years or so,